Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Family Sedan channel. When it comes to crypto in general, and certainly all things XRP, I pride myself on being level-headed. Because you see it all the time. Hype leads the pack. You see echo chambers out there in various communities, and you do see this too in the XRP community, I think it's fair to say, where you get certain ideas that are a bit out there, but if they're just spouted enough and you're only hanging around or closely paying attention to the key people that keep spouting those things, you start to believe it. Like, echo chambers are definitely a real thing, so I've always prided myself while running this channel on just not being afraid to push back politely against narratives that I just think are bogus nonsense. And there have been so many conspiracy theories out there that have actually grown legs as a result of this type of thing. I mean, you can think about the conspiracy theory that XRP is secretly backed by gold, which makes no damn sense. What about the quantum financial system? We found out about that a few years ago, right? And then it was announced by, what was that guy's name? Charles Ward, the billionaire. And then people were running with this stuff. Oh, yeah, let's see, this is the reason that I hold XRP. Look at this stuff. Oh, XRP backed by gold, and there's going to be a quantum financial system. It's going to come online in about a month, and it's going to take out SWIFT, and then XRP, yada, yada, yada. And there's just a couple examples. There's been no shortage of these wacky conspiracy theories. But there are also beliefs that, even if less harmful, are just flat out incorrect. How many times have you heard a statement that XRP wasn't meant for us? Ooh, how sophisticated, sleek, and suave. It wasn't meant for us. We've got it. And in fact, sometimes it goes so far as, because it's not meant for us, the government's trying to keep it out of our hands. You ever hear stuff like that? It's garbage. It's complete and utter nonsense. And I'm just going to prove it in this case, in this particular video. XRP was created basically to be a better version of Bitcoin. It was created by a few developers who are active in the Bitcoin community, love Bitcoin, just thought that there would be a way to improve it in a few capacities. So that's what they did. And David Schwartz has absolutely verified this. So I'm going to break it down for you. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here's a headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple CTO agrees XRP is for everyone, especially people sick of the banks. Over the weekend, Ripple CTO David Schwartz expressed agreement with a series of tweets by Panos Mekros, the author of Understanding the Crypto Economy, regarding the position of XRP. Mekros shared his perspective on the purpose of XRP. He emphasized that it was not for banks or to assist financial institutions. Now, Panos Mekros, I've highlighted stuff from him from time to time over the years, and this is a guy who simply is interested in the truth and facts. He doesn't run away with hype like you see all the time. He pushes back against the conspiracy theories. So I've always appreciated the degree to which he operates in good faith, because I bet he believes the same as I, in that there's so much excitement surrounding XRP that is based on legitimate fundamentals that we don't need the hype. We don't need the nonsense hype. It's sufficiently exciting being in the XRP community, just looking at the real fundamentals of it all. So I just want to note at the outset here, and I'm about to get into the specifics, but I want you to know that what I'm about to share with you, David Schwartz agrees with. So there was this thread written by Panos, and after he wrote it, he wrote to David Schwartz, again, co-creator of XRP and the XRP Ledger, and he said, "Hey, David, could you comment on this and clear it up for people who still disagree?" And David Schwartz responded, and he said, "I 100% agree with that thread. Awesome description." So to the people that say XRP wasn't meant for us, and you're so sophisticated, and you got your conspiracies about the government, they're going to come and take your XRP, well, you're going to weep after this, because it's just not true. So here's what Panos had to say. "It's sad that a big part of the XRP community still believes that XRP was created for banks or to help institutions. It was literally created to destroy the bank's monopoly and disintermediate them. XRP was created as a better Bitcoin for peer-to-peer transactions. For people, not banks. And with features like the DEX," that's of course the decentralized exchange, Ripple's initial vision was to enable people to break free of the walled gardens of financial networks like credit cards, banks, PayPal, and other institutions that restrict access with fees, charges for currency exchanges, and processing delays, end quote. This is what Ripple mentioned on their website in 2013. Ripple, initially OpenCoin, started with a vision to build an open payment system and peer-to-peer credit network for people, not banks, on top of XRP Ledger and by utilizing its decentralized exchange and other features. Okay, a couple things right here. I got to pause. There is one small correction, not in terms of substance, but just in terms of a material fact. He noted here that Ripple was initially called OpenCoin. Ripple was actually initially called NewCoin, and shortly thereafter they were renamed OpenCoin. And then I think it was in 2015 they were renamed to Ripple Labs, and then they have a DBA, which just means doing business as Ripple, so they can go just by Ripple for short. Anyway, not in any sort of correction on substance, but I am going to come back to this article that he linked to. This thing, and oh, by the way, let me just prove this too. This is the xrpl.org website. You can see it's even cited right here. It's on your screen right there that the company was NewCoin September 2012, quickly renamed OpenCoin and then Ripple. But this piece, I'm going to circle back to this. I just want to get through the thread from Panos first, but this I found fascinating for so many reasons, and I think you're going to enjoy this. But this is an article from a website I'm not familiar with, IEEE Spectrum, January 14th, 2013. And this is titled, Ripple Credit System Could Help or Harm Bitcoin. Decentralized peer-to-peer credit could either be the exchange Bitcoiners want or the nascent currency's first credible competition. So I'm going to come back to this, but it does make the point that Panos was stating. I just want to do it in this particular order, though. So anyway, he continues, though. Even though Ripple later decided to focus on the banking system and cross-border payments, they didn't do that to help banks and financial institutions. They did it to create a level playing field for the small banks and destroy the SWIFT cartel owned by the big ones. Either way, Ripple's business model doesn't matter much, as it's just one project out of the hundreds using XRP and building on XRP Ledger. But some members of the XRP community should know what they hold and stick to the facts instead of believing false narratives. And let's pause and note, there is a ton of pushback from the XRP community members in this thread, and I thought about highlighting some of them, but I was like, I don't need to do that. I don't need to make this any more divisive than it already is. It's just know that if you believe that XRP wasn't meant for us and that it was meant to help the banks, just know that you're factually incorrect. So now you can know that. But then Panos says, and these false narratives were created by Bitcoin maxis at first and have continued by XRP influencers and YouTubers who promote this for their own interests, spreading misinformation and delusional theories around XRP. Yeah, so I'll pause to note, and this is the type of stuff that I've always pushed back against on my channel, and sometimes people get offended about it, but I'm sorry, like, if I respectfully disagree with some of the stuff you put out, like, I just, let's be adults here. It's not my job to, somehow control or try and manage your feels. Like, that's just, we're all grown adults here. Like, it's not going to do that. But I just, anytime there's something that gets into conspiracy theory land and it's so clear the case, and then it gets spread, and then there's this echo chamber and people believe it, I just start rolling my eyes. And so Panos, being one of the guys pushing back against this, I've always, from time to time, like I said, propped up his content. He's written some awesome stuff here. And so credit where it's due. And then Panos also says, XRP is for everyone, especially the people who are sick of banks and centralized entities that charge a lot of fees, have big delays, and can censor you. This is the reason XRP Ledger was built, to free the people from such institutions and give the power back to individuals. The whole point of the thread is that XRP is for everyone. It's an open, decentralized system with many features, and anyone can use it, people, businesses, banks, for whatever they want. Why is this so difficult for some people to understand? And that's the end of his thread. And the reason it's so hard is, I think, because there are conspiracy theories that are spouted, and then people end up in an echo chamber because they're hearing conspiracy theories from people that they perceive as credible. And it doesn't mean that they're not credible on everything they say about XRP, but look, everyone's wired differently in life. Like, the way that I am by nature, I have a default position of a skeptic. And then some are more eager to just believe or connect dots that really shouldn't necessarily be connected because every human's wired differently. And so why is it so difficult for some people to understand? Because that's why. And that's why I try and just push back against the conspiracy theory nonsense. It doesn't mean that no conspiracy theories could ever be true, but it is the case that almost all of them that exist ever are not true. Because the types of people that are so ready to connect those dots, they make tons of these conspiracy theories up in their heads. Almost none of them are true. And so, it's kind of interesting, too, in terms of utility for society. The fact that there are people like that, since a tiny percentage of them are true, when that comes out, that's actually useful for the rest of us. So we just have to kind of recognize that most of the conspiracy theories that some of these people put out are going to be garbage. But if people start looking into various things and certain things get uncovered, like that does happen. It's just understand that that's not going to be the case most of the time. So now let's, for fun, head into this from IEEE Spectrum. And this is, again, from January 14th, 2013. This is what was shared by Panos. And so this is an article. This is, by the way, before the XRP ledger was even publicly available by a couple weeks or so. And the way it's covered, I mean, it's just the final nail in the coffin on this. You can look at the way that it's covered and what the XRP ledger can do. They're calling it Ripple at the time, but because, and mind you, when they're calling it Ripple was not known to date. Ripple was not known as Ripple back then. They were known as, based on the timing of this, it was either Newcoin or OpenCoin, probably OpenCoin at the time. So, but the way in which they're covering what the XRP ledger can do and what it might mean for Bitcoin, it makes it very clear that there was no talk of, it being for the banks whatsoever. And this is the beginning of 2013, before the damn thing was even launched publicly. And so this is written by somebody named Morgan Peck, who I'm not familiar with, but check this out. January 14th, 2013. And this is fun. I love the first sentence even. This Christmas season, I bought my very first Bitcoins. Let me just pause there. Bitcoins, plural. You're not likely to hear that nowadays. Oh yeah, I just jumped into crypto. I bought my first Bitcoins, plural, meaning at least two, meaning you spent over $50,000 at the first go. Because it was worth, I didn't check to see what the price of Bitcoin was on that particular date, but almost nothing compared to where it is. And I think if you let a sufficient amount of time pass, you're going to see similar stuff with XRP. And technically you already do to a certain degree, even though the price of XRP is artificially suppressed because of the SEC. But I mean, it was regularly worth half a penny or less than half a penny in the earliest of days. So, but anyway, it's just kind of fun to see that because this is such an old article. It's over 10-year-old article here. And so, anyway, it continues though. The idea was to give them as gifts to my family, thus setting the pecs out on the adventure of figuring out how Bitcoin, the 4-year-old decentralized stateless cryptocurrency, works and why it might be important. I enjoy giving homework as a present. The adventure, however, turned out to be my own, as I first had to find a way to get some Bitcoins. Apparently there are a few ways. You can join the network that creates Bitcoins and mint them at a slow, unpredictable pace. You can accept them as payment. You can buy them from a centralized exchange. Or you can find a random stranger online who wants to sell them and meet up with him on the street. Folks, I'm not going to recommend that last one, but that's what this guy did. Check it out. I chose the latter, an option that landed me in a coffee shop 3 days before Christmas, handing over 100 United States dollars cash to a man I had never met, whose father had promised to immediately transfer me Bitcoins from his home in the Caribbean. Oh, folks, that sounds a little shady, doesn't it? Oh yeah, I'll just give me the $100, but my dad in the Caribbean, it's in the magic internet money. And this is 2013, mind you, when it was much more reasonably skeptical than it is today. Like, it's just like, do you also fall for those old Nigerian prince emails? Like, anybody? No? Anyway, it worked out for him, though. Peace continues. And so he did. But this arrangement is far from perfect, as are all of the alternatives. Each requires that a Bitcoin buyer trust either strangers to follow through on their promises or a centralized exchange to broker the deal. Confidence in Bitcoin's centralized exchanges is especially wobbly following a series of hacking incidents last year. Bitcoinica and Bitfloor, the two hardest hit, are still struggling to pay back their customers. So I was pausing note. This was before the Mt. Gox hack, which is the most famous one. I think it's fair to say in all of crypto's history. And those two exchanges, Bitcoinica and Bitfloor, never even heard of them. Anyway, piece continues though. And a larger problem looms. And check this out. Check this out. This was a concern back in 2013, but check this out. This guy's Nostradamus. And a larger problem looms. The specter of government regulation. If any country decides to outlaw Bitcoin, bearing down on the exchanges will be the easiest way to do it. Hot damn! Because that is exactly what's happening here in the United States. And not that it's going to be crushed into oblivion, because I think there's too many pushing back. It's just the administration that's currently in charge obviously has this goal, but I don't think that's going to come to pass. But it's a choke point, because if there aren't exchanges, it does make it that much harder to jump into crypto and stop it'll slow down, certainly at least, the adoption in the United States specifically. But here's the part where we get to XRP and the XRP ledger, which was then just being called Ripple. And this is before Ripple, the company, was known as Ripple. They would have been at this point in time probably known as OpenCoin. Could have been NewCoin, but I think at this point in time they had already changed the name to OpenCoin. So check this out. And again, this puts it to bed. This is somebody that is talking about this new potential competitor to Bitcoin, formidable. And there's no talk of banks in here. Check it out. Reads as follows. Within a few weeks, a new option will be available. A system called Ripple, which allows individuals to create credit and disperse it to people within a peer-to-peer social network. The project could, and by the way, I'll just pause a note. When they're talking about credit and this and that, they're talking about what we know today as tokenization. So that's what he's calling it there in the earliest of days. And for many years, even when I jumped into crypto, it was still being called IOUs because we didn't really have that term, tokenization that wasn't really, if it either wasn't created at that point or it just wasn't widely accepted as the term to use. But that is what it is. It was the first, XRP Ledger is the first platform to offer such a thing. And so anyway, then he continues and he says, the project could be used to implement what many Bitcoiners have been asking for, a decentralized currency exchange. But if the more ambitious parts of the design pan out, the credit created in Ripple could itself become a new form of digital currency and the first formidable competition for Bitcoin. So folks, this is why that narrative started. For the banks, this and that, because as soon as Ripple made that decision, and it may have started, if memory serves, in 2015, when they realized, hey, wait a minute, XRP is a bridge currency. As soon as that was there, yep, this whole narrative of for the banks, and it's not true. And now we have people pushing that out in our own XRP community, and it just isn't true, and it's provably not true, which I've done right here. Like, you can look at an old article from this. You've got evidence from the creator of the damn thing, one of them anyway, David Schwartz, saying, yeah, what else is there? Like, so just stop it with this stuff about XRP not being meant for us because it sounds so fanciful to you. It's stupid. STLLPID, stupid. And we should just push back against it because it's not true. That's the reason. That's it. Nothing against anyone that has believed this stuff, but just now you know, and just don't believe something that clearly isn't true. Like, I always strive to believe in life as many true things as possible. If somebody tells me something's not true and they give me the evidence, I'm going to immediately not believe the thing anymore. Like, that's just how it should work in life on any topic, right? So here we are. I thought that was fun, though. That was interesting. I've never seen this article before, and it's just so fun to just kind of like travel back in time, figuratively, to see something like this. Talking about Ripple before it was even known as XRP and the XRP ledger broadly. XRP was almost always XRP technically, and I'm getting into the weeds. It was XRP even was first known as XNS, but it was renamed XRP before it actually officially launched. But still, it was just more broadly known as Ripple. But it's just fun to go back and see this stuff, and to see an article talking about Ripple, meaning XRP, in this case, back in 2013. It's just, man, it would have been so fantastic to have been in the know and to have understood that crypto exists and to have participated in those earliest of days. But you know what? I've been here since 2017. I guess that's early enough. And even you, if you're new to crypto, even if you just jumped in, well, let enough time pass, and these will be the good old days, right? So it's all about personal perspective. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Family Sedan.